What's up everybody? I'm Gushy. Okay, so there's information that I just found out about for the new DLC for Ghost of Tsushima Legends. And all this info actually comes from the book that came out, The Art of Ghost of Tsushima. And it turns out that in chapter 3, it actually shows some of the art within the DLC. So the first thing that it tells us is something about someone called the Storyteller. The Storyteller is a traveler who is all-seeing and all-knowing. He's always shown with a mask on his face, which transforms him as he weaves his stories, and is always accompanied by some kind of animal. In this picture, he's shown with one of those foxes by the Naughty Shrines, and it seems like he's either a shapeshifter or takes different forms. In the second paragraph, it mentions him in this picture, where we instead see him as an exiled Buddhist monk. And so it seems like the Storyteller is going to be one of your main quest givers in Legends. Just as a little recap, there's going to be two types of game modes within Legends, either these story missions, and then the wave-based combat. The story mode is only played with 2 people, and I'm guessing missions are going to be pretty curated, just to tie in how this whole Legends part ties in with the existing Ghost of Tsushima universe. The wave-based game mode is really what I'm interested in, because we're for sure going to get the new Oni Enemy Type, which is also shown in the book, and like how I predicted in my Legends breakdown video, the 4 basic enemy types that we're all familiar with are all represented in the book, but as Oni. In this picture, we could see that there's a shield Oni, a brute Oni, a Oni archer, a Tengu, which we can guess is a swordman, going off the fact that the duel against the Tengu demon had the demon using a sword, and then finally a warlord, which is probably like those commanders in the black armor, which can be found wielding many different weapons. And so these are just the grunts that you'll be facing. What I'm really excited about is the 2 bosses that the art book revealed. The first one is this demon called Io. This demon has wood-like arms and these needle-looking things sticking out from her head, which can either be pins just in her hair or maybe even some kind of weapon that she uses. But one big part of information from this picture is that it shows there are 2 phases within this boss fight. The second one shows her laying on all 4s, hunched over, more like an animal. And it seems like we're going to get something like Souls, where as the boss gets to a certain amount of health, their attack patterns will change and will overall make the fight a little bit harder. The second boss that is shown is actually the same character named Io, but shown less as a demon and more as a possessed human. It seems like Io is born of royalty with the crown on her head, but has some mastery with the sword, having a special attack or technique as shown in the bottom 3 pictures. The last thing the art book shows is actually some menus. At first, menus might seem a little boring, but actually, they give you a ton of information on the different features that Legends will have. For example, in this picture, if we look at the different tabs on the top left, the first one selected is Storyteller, and this shows the team that you're currently grouped up with, as well as the mission on the bottom right called Twin Hearts. The second tab is Character, and this doesn't give that much, but in conjunction with the third tab, Crafting, we also know there's customizable items, and I'm already loving this. And so there are 2 ways that I could see crafting being done. The first is having it purely be cosmetic. If you take a look at the characters, we have an archer wearing a ghost mask, and then the samurai wearing what seems like a combination of a 2nd and 3rd tier samurai helmet. And so with this theory, you would just gather resources represented by the 5 different numbers on the top right corner, just to make different cosmetic items that you like. And this seems alright, but I think it's less likely. The second way that they could do this, which I think is more likely, just because it promotes more longevity to the multiplayer part of this game, I think the resources are instead going to be used to upgrade your class weapons. We already know that as you start multiplayer, you're going to have to choose one of 4 classes. And to differentiate between them, you're either going to have different weapons or different attacks, and having these resources that you collect be materials for the different weapons that you can craft and upgrade really sounds like a more fun way to do crafting. Okay, so onto the 4th tab, which is Feats. And this seems like this is just going to be different challenges that you can complete to collect more resources. And this might be a stretch, but I'm hoping that this is kind of similar to a battle pass. So hear me out. Sucker Punch already said that there aren't going to be any microtransactions. But if they do a battle pass system, which is already pretty popular, to get these resources to craft items and to earn some of these cosmetic items, it would make a lot of sense. Okay, finally, so the last thing that I wanted to point out is right above each character's head. You have a gamer tag, and right next to it is a number, which I'm guessing represents some kind of rank. The first two characters are 50 and below, also represented by orange text. The next is in green text with 50, and finally the last guy is 139, represented by the blue text, and I'm guessing is a third rank. And so with any kind of ranking system, there's always leaderboards. And there's different ways that you could calculate rank. You can go by amount of missions completed, amount of bosses killed, the maximum amount of waves defeated, or even your progress on your battle pass. Whatever it is, it's going to be public and it's going to be shown and compared with all of your friends and maybe even globally on a leaderboard. And that's basically all the information that I learned about, with some speculation to give you guys. But again, I'm hoping that Sucker Punch really makes this well and takes the time to make it so that it's fun and repeatable. I have my hopes up. I want to thank all you guys who are supporting me throughout this channel. Hope to catch you in the next one, and GG.